Why do companies use Google Analytics on their website, and should you use it too? In this short video, I'm going to look at a few of the key reasons why loads of businesses all around the world in all sorts of different industries rely on Google Analytics day in and day out to understand their performance online. So basically, if you're investing time, money, effort, whatever into digital marketing, you're going to want to make sure that you can assess your performance, you can track over time, you can see issues that arise, you can look at what is actually driving success for your business. All of those things can be done through Google Analytics. And so it really is the gold standard platform for this kind of work. There are other analytics options and solutions out there. Lots of web platforms like Weebly, Squarespace, Wix, Shopify, they all come with their own built-in analytics as well. But as I've established in previous videos, Google Analytics really is the kind of go-to, and any serious business is probably going to be running Google Analytics, unless they've got really good reasons not to. So whatever industry you're in and whatever stage of your business you're at, I definitely recommend having Google Analytics installed. But why do companies actually use it? Well, there are really three key reasons in my view that Google Analytics is used by companies all across the world. The first is to understand how many visitors are coming to your site. So with Google Analytics, you can see session data, which is the number of hits to your site. You can see user data. A user and a session are two different things. A user is looking at the actual number of individual people who came to your site. You can get that understanding of, am I growing or kind of flatlining or even declining over time? If something's come along like a Google algorithm update and your traffic was nice and steady and then it drops off, you can go in and look at what happened to your organic traffic, for example. So Google Analytics is firstly valued for its ability to tell you basically how many people are coming to your site. Another reason Google Analytics is really useful and valued by companies across the world is for its ability to help you understand where your visitors come from. Now, where can refer to geography, and it can also refer to channel source as well. So are people coming to your site from organic Google searches? Are they coming to your site from social media? If it's social media, is it Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest? Are they coming from referral sources? So you've got a link on another website, for example, and people are clicking on that link and coming through. Are they navigating directly? So maybe you've gone on a big spree of handing out business cards all over the place and you're wanting to assess whether or not people are coming through. Really, Google Analytics is hugely valuable for understanding where people are coming from. As I said, you can do it at a geographic level as well. You can look at your top countries, cities, regions, all those kind of things to understand maybe how you have to tailor your content. For example, if you go into your Google Analytics and find that, hey, even though your business is targeting America, you're actually getting loads and loads of traffic from Canada, for example, you might want to actually pivot or adjust your offer or even have something that appeals more to Canadian audiences. Maybe you have to open up a Canadian section of your e-store or your website because they demand different content and you're underserving them at the moment. So both geographic and source kind of data is very, very valuable, and that's all achievable through Google Analytics. Whatever it is you're doing, you're going to be able to see where people are coming from in the world and where they're coming from on the internet as well, and that is hugely valuable. Now, the third and final key reason that businesses use Google Analytics is for basically better understanding of how visitors interact. So there's a whole load of data, a huge treasure trove of data that's available in Google Analytics around how people interact with your site. So you can go in and you can look at your most viewed landing pages, for example. What are the pages that people actually land on to start their journey on your site? And if you find that actually there's a landing page that might be getting heaps and heaps of traffic but not very well optimized, maybe you created it 5 years ago and you've not touched it since, and the content's no longer that relevant, well, you could go in and you could actually adjust that and improve it and make it better and improve the experience of your site and hopefully get more people converting, which leads me on to my next point. One of the core reasons that businesses love using Google Analytics is you can use it for conversion tracking. So imagine that you've got a simple quote request form on your website, so people come and look on your site. It's a bit of an interactive brochure. They decide they want to continue down the path of making an inquiry with your business, and so you have something on your site like a request a quote form. People fill that form in and they're pushed off to a thank you page. It says, hey, thanks for your inquiry, one of our team will be back in touch soon. Now, that action of filling out the form and hitting that thank you page, we can track that in Google Analytics as a conversion, and then we can actually use that conversion data to actually retrofit onto our channel data and our geography data and all sorts of different things like that, what's performing best. So if you've got your conversion tracking set up, you can look over a month or a quarter or a year or however long you want to look and say, right, what channels drove the best conversion activity for us? So for example, if you're doing SEO and Google ads and Facebook ads and email marketing and all these different things, the full sort of suite of digital marketing, you can look back and say, right, where do our best conversions come from? Because what might actually transpire is that even though you're putting tons and tons of effort into Facebook and Facebook advertising, it's actually Google search through both organic and paid Google search, so Google Ads, that's driving the best conversions. And then you really need to start weighing up, are we still, worthwhile actually working on Facebook ads, or are we better off to maybe pivot a bit more back towards SEO and PPC or Google Ads advertising? Maybe you could take some of your Facebook ads budget and put it back towards Google Ads and actually get more conversions. And even beyond this, going another level deeper, with Google Analytics, it's possible to even look at conversion pathways. So most of us will be aware of the fact that most conversions, most commercial outcomes don't tend to happen in a vacuum. It's very rare, to be honest, that someone sees an offer once and goes and purchases it. It does happen, of course, so don't set the comments on fire telling me that it happens for your business. I know it probably does happen, but most people need to see an offer multiple times before taking action. With Google Analytics, you can actually get data around how people interact across different channels and sources, and how that actually influences conversions on your site. So you can look at your top conversion paths, for example, and get an insight into the fact that maybe most conversions on your site are driven off a Google Ads click first, and then someone coming back and making an organic search, or maybe people come off Facebook first, and that Facebook advertising activity that you're thinking of pausing is actually contributing at that bottom level, and then what you're worth doing is continuing with that, so you can actually drive more conversions on the second interaction, so that people are actually looking at an ad on Facebook, they're clicking, they're coming to your site, they're leaving, and then it's your remarketing ads on Google Display Network, for example, that actually drive the conversion. Once again, Google's going to help you to understand that through analytics. So to recap, why do businesses use Google Analytics? Really a few key reasons, and they can really be distilled down to some simple concepts. The first is to understand the volume of business activity through your site, basically how many people are coming to your site. Are things like your time on site metrics looking good? How many pages on average do people visit? That volume or quantity data is very valuable because you want to see that grow over time. The second reason that businesses use Google Analytics day in, day out, it's because it helps you to understand where those visitors come from, so you can optimize your activity at a geographic level and at a channel or source level, and even down to a sort of device level. You can actually get data around whether people are coming from desktop or tablet or phone, and even what sort of browsers they're using. And the final reason, and perhaps the most important reason of all, is to get better insight into actually how people interact on your site. So what pages do they look at? How many pages on average do they go through before they exit your site? And even down to conversion data, what are people doing in terms of taking commercially valuable actions on your site, whether it's completing checkouts, or it's completing quote request forms, or it's even things like clicking on your click to call phone numbers. If you've got that data set up, and obviously some of it does require tweaking out of the box to get it working, which is beyond the scope of this video, but if you do get it set up, it gives you so much more data and understanding that you can use to influence your digital marketing and improve your business's presence online, get more customers and get more sales. So yeah, I hope you found that helpful. If you've got any questions, please do let me know. If you're not really sure about Google Analytics and whether it's right for your business, feel free to leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.